it was fantastic. And they grow everything in beds and what have you. Theirs is more better than this out here because he's been doing it for a while. But he represents Mississippi State in the process thereof, and he's been helping us from day one out here on this experimental data that we're doing. And what we're trying to do is give you all ideas, young people, that there is a way of making a work, not a job, work. And y'all better listen. The government will have an attitude problem in a minute. Understand?
Understand.
Thank you, sir. Okay, Dr. Evans, come in your own way. And all these guys and children and adults are part of the crew here. And y'all can speak with him. Brother Reed's trying to do some of the same stuff over in Lexington. He's trying to get there.
Awesome.
And you know Brother George. And Brother William here is one of our supportive parents, but he grew up with all of this stuff, so he's been supported with us. And that's Brother William, you know, Ann was here last August 24th, and Maggie's sister. That's all the adults that's around, all the rest of the kids. And so this is Dr. Evans. As I said, he's doing with Mississippi State, and you may want to have an internship down at the experimental station. And I mean, it is fantastic down there. If I was younger, I would be on his employment list because it's so peaceful and everything down there. So, Dr. Evans? Okay.
Okay, one of you who's in the program with kids, refresh my memory and tell me a little bit about your program before we go any further. Somebody raise their hand and tell me a little bit about what you're trying to do and what you're in.
Loretta, Keith?
Stand up.
Say again?
Stand up.
And what's the name of the program?
Wiley.
Wiley, out of
Attitude. Okay. And how many kids are about in the program? You got most of the kids in the program here, or a few of them, or?
They only have 12.
You guys have a garden down at Tougaloo, or are you helping out with this one, or both?
Helping out with
All right.
Keith here has, in fact, he and his sister are part of the program, and they planted most of those back rows over there themselves. And so they got the hands-on. And then they, these other guys planted the trees that started with stop trees just because it was too hot to get out there and put it in the ground. Otherwise, they'd been putting it down in plastic.
Understand. So, we've been talking a lot about plants today. Besides plants, what are some other favorite things of yours that are green? What's your favorite green thing on the whole planet? Who said that? Who said that? Stand up and say it loud. Who said it? Stand up and say it really, really loud.
Money.
That is the answer I was looking for. Right? Now, we talked about chickens a minute ago. You got a beautiful set of chicks there. What do your chickens eat again? What do they eat?
Just food. Just chicken food.
What's chicken food made of mostly?
Grains.
Grains. And what are grains?
Vegetables.
Grains are seeds, right?
Right, seeds.
Grains are mainly seeds. Seeds come from what? Plants. So where's the chicken come from?
Right.
Plants. Plants. What about you? What do you eat? What do you eat?
Plant.
A little less self-effacing there. You eat meat. You eat meat, right?
And vegetables.
Meat and vegetables. What kind of meat do you eat?
I eat chicken and fish.
Chicken and fish? Anyone else eat any other kinds of meat?
Oh, we have to confess up some beef.
A little beef,
Some
maybe
pork.
some pork. There's a goat industry here in this state. You can eat alligator in this state. You can eat shrimp, all kinds of things. Now, with the exception of true wild-caught seafood, what does your beef eat?
Grains.
Grains and grass.
Yes.
So what is your beef made of?
Grains and grass.
Plants.
Plants.
Right? So, we've got money and plants. Those should be your two favorite green things in the world, unless you invented Kermit the Frog. He was in Mississippi too. And but I want to talk to you a little bit about how you might turn this into a vocation, how you might turn plants into money. Right? Plants can be turned into money. There's a couple of things, a couple of ingredients you need. You need a good piece of ground. You need You need some seeds. You need a few other things. But you also need some hard work and some sweat and a couple of good ideas. And you need some friends to help you. This is one of those things that's very hard to do on your own. That's why she's got a team of folks helping her out up here. That's why she's got you guys out here. One of the great things that you can learn from all of this that you're doing up here is teamwork and helping each other out. You're all part of a community, and we're all part of one big community. And I live way down in Clinton, so I'm not. Well, you guys are all Tougaloo, so are you guys all Jacksonian type areas?
Oh, no.
They here.
You're up here and you go down there and you come here? Okay.
No.
They come up here. They
The
help.
Tougaloo folks come up here to help you guys. Okay. Okay, well that's cool. That's cool. But, so what kind of stuff can we do here? We can take a 10-cent tomato seed and turn it into about $20 worth of tomatoes. With about $5 or $10 worth of work. What's the difference between the $5 or $10 worth of work and the $20? Most of that is profit. Now you got land cost in there, and you got tractor, and you got fertilizer and all that stuff. But if you can keep your labor costs on that $20 worth of tomatoes down to $5, invest another $5 in land and labor, or land and seeds and fertilizer and weeding and all that good stuff, then you can have $10 worth of profit from one tomato seed. That's not too shabby. How many tomato seeds did you guys? What did you plant in those trays today?
Beans,
Bush
bush beans.
beans and just snap beans today. Okay, each of those one seeds is going to yield maybe $1 or $2 worth of beans. So that's pretty good. Now you guys won't get that much money. I'm sorry, you just won't. It's just how it is. Because the birds are going to eat some, and the cows are going to eat some. Well, not the cows, but you know, disease is going to come in, and the weeds are going to get a little bit, and you're going to miss a picking here and there because you're all not 25 years old. You're all. Who's the youngest person here? If I can pick on someone. So what's the age range here? 9, all the way up to what? 9, and how old are some of the older boys and girls here?
16.
16? Okay, so we're getting to be young men and women. Excellent. Well, when you're 9 to 16, things distract you. You go out there, oh, that's a cool bug. I've never seen one of those before. And you do that instead of weeding. And that's going to happen sometimes. And that's okay as long as it happens sometimes. I'll give you another hint. When we get new workers down at Truck Props, they're hoeing along their row. If they stop to talk while they're hoeing, we have to teach them that you can actually hoe and talk at the same time. And it's okay to talk. In fact, hoeing is so boring you have to have someone with you. We never send one person out to hoe because they're going to be out there for 2 or 3 hours. We'll send a bunch of them out there. And they'll talk and they'll hoe at the same time. And they actually get more work done than if they were alone or if we didn't allow them to talk. So they do that. But it takes hard work, and that's where I'm going with that. Now, let's talk about the other stuff that plants need. Plants need good soil. They need good soil that's worked up well. Take care of your soil. The soil is the most valuable thing that you have on your farm to start your farm. Your soil has got to have good fertility to it, good native fertility to it. It's got to have good water drainage so water moves through it freely so it doesn't stay wet too much all the time. It's got to have a little bit of slope to it so when it rains, the extra water from a big heavy Mississippi frog choker doesn't stay on that, so it moves down the field a little bit and gets off the field. We put them up on raised beds. Why have we put the plants up on raised beds? To keep them from being in water. That's right. To keep them and why do we put the plastic on? Hold the soil. Holds moisture when it gets dry, and we're about to get into the dry part of the year around here. We've been blessed with an overabundance of rain. We're thankful for the rain, but we've had a little too much this year for some of this down here. But now it's about to turn dry because that's what it does in Mississippi. June, July, and August, and actually September are our 4 driest months of the year pretty much. So it's about to get dry, and we put that mulch on there. That's going to hold moisture, and we have a drip tape underneath that so we can control the water on that crop. We want to be like California where it never rains where they grow vegetables, and they just turn on the water when they want it, turn it off when they want it. And we want to be able to do that out here during the summertime so we can maximize the yield out of there. Yes, ma'am?
You said you have a drip pen under the row?
Under the row, under these plastic rows. Have you guys seen that yet? Have they been down there? Underneath you got the raised bed of plastic, and underneath there is a flexible piece of really inexpensive garden hose-like material. But it's basically a real heavy plastic bag that they wrapped into a tube. And when they wrapped it and made that seam at the bottom where the two pieces connect, they put little holes there every once in a while. It's a little more complicated than that, but that's all we need to know today. And then so that behaves as a drip tube. We put water in at the end, and it fills up that tube all the way down the end, and it drips about every 1 foot, drips down a little bit, and that provides the water for the crop. And so the plastic mulch is also keeping down weeds. There is one weed out there that's going to grow right through that plastic, and Keith is going to see that if he hasn't seen it already. That's called nutsedge, and that'll grow right through that plastic. But everything else will be smothered by the plastic, and the only place you're going to have the weed is outside the plastic and in the hole where the plant is, right where you're like. He's got watermelons out there right now. You can do that. So you just have to keep that weed. So the plastic mulch is holding in moisture. It's keeping the soil in place, preventing erosion. It's holding down the weeds. It's warming the soil when it's cool out, and the melon vines soon will cover that whole plastic. 3 weeks from now, you barely see that plastic out there. It'll be covered with melon vines. And then you won't have to have the warming, and it'll just be shaded and stuff, and you'll just have no weeds in the melon patch. It'll be really cool. Let's see. So we got good soil. We need water. You got to water crops in Mississippi, even though we get more rain than most places in the country get. Still got to water crops, especially these high-value vegetable crops. It's really important to have a source of water if you're going to do this. It's important to keep the weeds down. Why do we keep the weeds down in the vegetable patch? Because the weeds are using the same things that the crop is using. The weeds want the light, the weeds want the water, the weeds want the fertilizer. They want all three of those, and they want the space. So they're going to compete for all of them. And weeds are tough sons of guns. They'll elbow out the crop and knock the crop on its head. And they'll win. So we have to... They've got a lot of vigor from having to fight in nature all the time. I mean, if you look at this grass, if I were to take a hula hoop and throw it out on that grass, and we were to look down, and we all got together around that hula hoop, and we tried to count the number of different types of plants that were in that hula hoop, you can't believe it, but in this grass patch, there's probably 10 or 20, maybe even 30 plants just in one hula hoop's worth. So there's 10 or 20 different weeds in every hula hoop's worth of field out there trying to compete for space out there. So we have to control those. Now we can use weedy plants to our advantage though,